Now we're going to get started. All right, so sorry for the delay. Basically, the issue was me. I was the problem, and I'm man enough to admit it. Also, for those of you watching, I am battling a cold. I'm a little congested. I did get tested for Rona today. I don't think I have it. I think it's just a cold. So I will try not to cough into the mic. But I am a diehard DM, and we're going to play through it. That's how we roll. Also, we left on a massive cliffhanger last week. We left on a cliffhanger, so I can't just not play for a week after what happened last week. Okay. So with that, tonight, we're jumping into episode 6 of Rise of the Sovereign. And we're going to go around real quick and remind everyone who we have with us. Up top, we have Ellie from Canada. She is joining us and she'll be playing Anne Hothamore. Below me, we have Laz, who is playing the dwarf. And what is the dwarf's name again? Forgot.
Specifically not from Canada, and his name is Lorix.
Lorix, that's right. Lorix, the dwarf, and then below him we have Danny, who is playing Vimic, our Goliath Rune Knight, and then all the way at the bottom we have Wes, who will be playing Corden Acosta, our Circle of Stars Druid. So we have 3 of our characters are playing new classes from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and then we threw in an Arcane Trickster for good boot because it's still an amazing class. So
it's a party without an Arcane Trickster.
Yeah, you gotta have an Arcane Trickster. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick recap of what happened last week, and then we're gonna jump right into the action story-wise of where we left off. So where we picked up last week is the party was at the Yawning Portal. They were waiting to meet a friend of theirs to get some information, Minsk, and they found out that they were wanted for murder. And the person they were wanted for killing, they actually saw a mind flayer eat that person earlier, but they're actually wanted. Specifically, the bounty is for Ellie's character, Anne, and her associates, all of which were named and described in great detail. So they figured out we need to get out of the tavern. It was about this point that Ellie lost power and had to come back on with her cell phone and candles, which showed amazing dedication. They managed to get out of the tavern before they were arrested by the town guard. They did it through a lot of funny hijinks, one of which, my personal favorite, was when Vimic used the disguise self that we had put into a spellstone to turn into a Martha Stewart-esque character, and the giant Goliath turns into Martha Stewart and talked his way out of the tavern as they all kind of escaped to get back to the ruins and to kind of regroup and eventually get back to the manor. Now, whenever they got back to Hothamore Manor that evening, they had to kind of do some things to kind of shake the authorities. They found that it was under attack. And they saw Miles Hothamore, their patron, the crazy old conspiracy theorist, was, all of the town guard, the Order of the Gauntlet, the Paladins, they were there to arrest or actually burn this place down. And what happened was they rushed in to try to help Miles because he was up on a balcony, and much to everyone's surprise, he was chucking fireballs down at the Paladins who were trying to break into the manor. They managed to kind of go in the back, right?
Sometimes you get a cat fireball.
Right. So they managed to go into the back of the manor and try to help and save Miles. They saw that Joan, one of the handmaidens, had her throat was cut and was dead on the floor. They walked through the manor. The Paladins busted in. Y'all kind of broke up into 2 parties at that point, where Lorix and Vimic tried to hold off while Anne and Corden kind of ran up to try to help Miles. When they got up to the 3rd floor and got to the balcony, they went to help Miles and saw that he was being attacked by not 1, not 2, but 3 mind flayers on the balcony. They rushed in to help him. At this point, the entire party's rushing up to help him. And one of the mind flayers did like some type of teleport, got right behind him, put out his tentacles around the neck of Miles, snapped it, and actually removed the head of Miles from his body. His body falls to the floor. Everyone freaks out. And through like this rage, Anne ends up killing one of the mind flayers. I believe Corden, uses a guiding bolt, kills another one. So they failed in their task of saving Miles, but they did defeat the mind flayers. With quick thinking, Vimic not knowing what else to do, knowing they've got to get out of there because they're about to get overrun from these paladins, that he takes the body of Miles, stuffs it into this satchel, this giant bag of holding he's got. He remembers, I want to grab the head too, and they leave the manor. First cough. They then jump down the side of the building. They scale the side of the building. They manage to use a pass without trace to get away from the paladins, and they sneak back to the ruins where they had found from this map earlier that the ruins actually has an underground level, and they go into this underground level that was been hidden for thousands of years. And it's at that point that they get down there and they find Ceridwen, who is the right hand, this lady, this elf, who's the right hand of Miles. And there she is holding this lantern, which is the vessel that Laz's character, who is a genie warlock, is bound to. Whoever holds the lantern controls Lorix's character. It is the genie's lamp, but it's a lantern. And they come in, and Lorix is all upset. He's like, we've got to find a cleric. We've got to find someone who can bring Miles back. And much to their surprise, Ceridwen says, it's okay. I can handle it as long do we have the body. Vimic throws the body out on the floor from the bag. They just dump the body of Miles. The head goes rolling across. And Ceridwen kneels down beside the body, pulls up the lantern, and says, Miles, it's okay. I have your phylactery. And she recites an incantation. Much to everyone's surprise, his head reattaches to a body. He sits up and says, that is the worst one yet. And that is where we ended the episode, on this amazing cliffhanger of everyone like freaking out that Miles is a lich. He's got a phylactery and he's back.
Whoa, like that could be any number of things. It could be any number of things.
Any number of things. Doesn't
necessarily mean he's a lich, even though the DM just said it.
I said it last week too. You saw his decayed flesh come back, and he was a lich. All right, a lot of talking.
Give me more time for shenanigans.
That's right, and we need more Laz shenanigans in the world. All right, so that is where we're going to pick up, right where we left off. And Ellie says, no, we don't need more Laz shenanigans.
We really don't.
We really don't. Okay, so we're going to jump back. This is the underground lair of the ruins that you discovered last week. And now it is a perfect crypt for your patron, who is back from the dead in some undead manner. And this is the scene we come back to. So in this scene, we have the party. We have Ceridwen. We also have Miles. And we also, not on the map, is the company of dwarves. Remember, there are 6 dwarves with you, the Stormpike clan, that has traveled and answered the call of the sovereign, the oath sworn. They answered that the same as Vimic, as the Goliath did. And everyone now is basically staring at Miles, wide-eyed, wondering what just happened. So with that, we're going to pick up, and I would like to let Ellie, Anne's character, go first in her response, as Miles has basically picked himself up, kind of adjusting himself, and everyone at this point is they've basically got, there's some benches and things that are down here that they're sitting on. So everyone now is basically like standing as Miles sits down and kind of adjusts his robe and kind of looks over everyone as everyone's staring back at him in disbelief. So with that, what does Anne want to say?
I think she'd run up to him and hug him first before she says anything.
Okay, much to his surprise, you go up, you hug him, he throws his hands, he goes, Anne, I am so sorry that I kept you in the dark with this secret, but believe me, it was for your safety. Are you okay?
Okay, I understand the fact of keeping secrets, but this is a secret you could have told me. If anybody's gonna understand keeping secrets, wouldn't you think it'd be me?
It's not a fact that I don't trust you. It's that the knowledge of who and what I am carries with it a certain curse. The people that have learned this in the past don't generally live to know it very long because of the collective. You saw some of them there tonight. They have been hunting me or my many personas for years.
How many?
Quite a while. And he's looking over the rest of you, and he looks over at Ceridwen, and he goes, Corden, I've known you a long time. How are you?
Check back with me. Keep talking.
And he looks over and goes, and he looks at the dwarves, and the dwarves are all just kind of standing there in disbelief as well. Thorbrick, the leader of them, says, dangerous or not, we need to know who you are and what we're dealing with. We answered the call of the Oathsworn, but was this a trick? Who are you? And with that, Miles looks over and goes, and he looks at Ceridwen, and Ceridwen looks at him and goes, it's your decision. And with that, Miles looks over and goes, well, understand that if I share this story with you in the past, there carries a curse of knowledge. So you can leave now, and I'll understand, but if you stay and you want to hear my story, then there's a certain responsibility that will come with that.
When you say the word curse, do you mean figuratively or literally?
Figuratively.
Okay. Please continue.
And he's looking over the room. The dwarves have traveled long and far to be here. They want answers. Is anyone else? Vimic. He looks over. Lorix.
Oh, and we need to know what's up with her, too. Crone. We need to know what's up with her.
And
friend.
Ceridwen.
Yeah.
And Ceridwen looks over at Miles and says, Miles, it's your decision. And he seems to be most concerned about Anne knowing this. He's protective of you. And he looks at you and he says, I'm sorry, but I do owe you the truth. And I hope that your fate will not be the same as the others that I have told over the years.
You've raised me to be strong. This won't change that. I do deserve to know the truth.
Well, for you to understand, I need to explain the context of the story, and I hope you will just bear with me. I have to start far back for you to understand the true context of why I am what I am. And with that, he
Lorix off in the background kind of throws up his hands like, sure, no one cares if Lorix gets cursed.
Oh, you're out. You're out of the
He doesn't
the
say it
ring.
loud enough for Miles to hear him, no.
So the Baravan dynasty, 5,000 plus years ago, they were the ones that brought Faerun together. They brought together, before that, the land was just points of light. It was villages and sparse civilizations. They were the one that founded this great city. And it was from them that the land went through a renaissance of sort. It was filled with music and art and peace. And they went out and they created, trade routes and pacts and brought the different races and peoples of Faerun together. And the family ruled for centuries, just handed down from generation to generation. They were elves, but they also had mixed with some of the humans. So by this point in time, they had become more half-elven than anything. But it was also during this time that they discovered something under their city. They discovered this, what we now know and call the Underdog. And at first it created a clamor of excitement as, rich minerals and ores were being pulled from the Underdark, but also encountering new people and new civilizations that were buried beneath the city itself. Well, not everything that was discovered in this dark place was friendly. And it was during this time that the people seemed to rise up against the Baravons from seemingly out of nothing. Out of peace came strife. And it was at that time that the city fell under siege. And it came under siege by its own people. The own people that rose up against the Baravons. No one could understand why. What the story was twisted. The history was twisted. Everything about them was just filled with hate and vitriol. And they charged and giant catapults and sieged the city and destroyed the city in a matter of weeks. They routed out and destroyed the dynasty, and not many survived. In truth, on that last day when the keep, not far from here, or actually above us, was the last bastion of that dynasty, was overtaken. And the last ruling Baravan, Alanis, who you spoke to in this ghostly image that still haunts this grounds, I guess, she was the last ruler, the last of the Baravans. And that is absolutely true. But she wasn't the last Baravan. She had a child. And she bore one of her knights to leave the city and take care of this child. So the knight and the child escaped the city. After the Baravons fell, the knight traveled far and wide to protect the child. They traveled throughout Faerun, not looking not only for safety, but also to answer what had happened. And it was through these travels that they learned about something called the Collective, something that had come up from the Underdark. They had taken over the will of the people and had taken out the Baravons. And they still hunted this child. That somehow the Collective knew this child still existed. And this one knight, this Yoskayan knight, traveled all throughout Faerun, running and hiding and answering, how do we know who the Collective is? And how do we know, how do they take people over? And it was at this time, in his travels, that the knight, frustrated after years of being on the run, he met a wizard. And this wizard apparently had a solution in mind, but the wizard was wicked. So the knight tried to convince the wizard to tell him how to defeat this Collective. And he traveled to this land that the wizard was from, and the wizard would not tell him. He would only dangle the truth in front of him, tell him that he did have a solution, but he would not give it to him. He enjoyed tormenting the knight. And the knight learned that this wizard enjoyed something. He enjoyed tormenting people, so much so that he would build these elaborate dungeons and traps and would lure heroes there and watch as these people would try to gain access to these lost vaults and these untold treasures, and he would torment them, and then eventually they would die in these machinations that this wizard had created. So the knight, who was brave, stated that he made a wager with the wizard. I will defeat your machination, and if I do, you will give me the answer to defeating the Collective. Well, the wizard agreed, of course, because the knight was folly in thinking he could do this. But the knight entered into this tomb of horrors. He made this wager, and he defeated it. He then met the wizard in its truest form, this undead, this lich, this horrible being who'd been around forever. And he learned the wizard's name, Acerak. And from learning this, the wizard and the knight were at odds, and the wizard still would not give him the secret. So the knight charged and attacked the wizard. And with the power that the knight had gained from conquering this tomb, this evil place that he had conquered, neither the wizard or the knight could best each other. It was a stalemate. And it was at this point that the wizard made a deal back to the knight. And the deal was this. He would give him the secret to beating the collective. In return, the knight promised never again to interfere with the wizard. The knight agreed. And this Acerak, this wizard, gave this knight this clue to beating the collective: immortality. The knight did not realize what this actually was. And when he took this and he tried to learn this tome he was given, this book, this knowledge was given to the knight, he didn't truly understand what it was he was doing, but he created in himself a way to be immortal, to outlast and outlive the collective, but not to truly defeat it. And so then, 5,000 years later, I am still here, for I am the knight of the story. I am the last of the Yoskayan knights, and I have waited thousands of years to find a way to defeat this collective. I know now what they are. I still cannot determine the difference between a man and a man taken over by one of these foul creatures. And I refuse to believe that the only way to defeat them is to slay kingdoms. So I have hunted, and I have had clues. I have found things that can lead us to an idea of what we can do. But, alas, I have failed. My one hope was this comet that I kept reading about that was around during the time of the Baravons and would come back at a certain time. And I believed that somehow maybe the answer laid in the stars, that maybe it was waiting for the right time. And so I became this to try to outlast the collective. And over the years, some people have figured out, and I've told them, and the curse is that almost all of those people are now dead. Hunted and killed by, I can only assume, the collective.
Question.
Yes.
So where's the child?
Yes. Did she have a child?
No. The child, unfortunately, she passed away as well.
I want to...
But in the moment, it is time to tell the story. The child did die. She had no children. And it was because when I was given this gift, and I use that word very lightly, I tried to use it as well on the child. And until this moment, no one has known, and he looks over at Ceridwen, that she is the last Baravan. She is like me.
I'm gonna...
She the child?
Insight.
Yes.
Insight.
Your insight check is very good. We'll use your passive. Everything that Miles is telling you, he believes is true. You don't sense any deception in his story.
So you have been fighting this group of Illithid,
Yes.
basically, for thousands of years.
Yes.
Have they had control of Waterdeep all this time?
Yes. But now their reach is far past Waterdeep. It's in every city across Faerun. But they are based here. It started here.
How long has it been since they last found you?
They believe the knight is dead. They have killed many versions of myself over the years. But they believe it's just a cult passed down. They've killed many versions of me, and in some cases, I'll be honest, I allow that to happen so that I can slip back into anonymity.
How do they disguise themselves?
Two ways. One, simple illusion magic is for the mind flayers themselves, but that is easy to see through. The issue is their little pets these devourers, the brains, they actually leap in and will replace the brain of a living host. That you cannot tell the difference. Unless you know the person extremely well and are able to ask them certain things. But when they devour the brain itself, they seem to recall some of the knowledge of the previous host. Also, the collective. What one knows, they all know. They are hive-minded.
Well, looks like we're coming up with new names.
That's true. And he looks over and he goes, and since we're totally revealing, you may still call me Miles. But I am the last of the Oskian Knights. My original name, my name I was born with was Alaric. I was born to be the vanguard of the Baravons. I'm the last protector of... And Ceridwen is just one of her other personas. Her name is Vidania Baravon. She is the daughter of Alanis. And as soon as he says that, the dwarves all come together and kneel before Ceridwen, or Vidania. And they all in unison begin to swear an oath of allegiance to Vidania, because to them, this is a chance, because it was Vidania's grandmother who actually saved the Stormpike clan. So this is a direct link to their heritage of this debt that they are owed, and now they are swearing their allegiance now to Vidania. I'm sure you all have questions. I've just laid a heavy burden on all of you. And he's looking back at Anne. Anne, do you understand now why I kept this from you?
I understand.
Looking over at you, he's like, you seem upset.
As you said, it's just a lot to take in. It's a lot to understand.
Now, Corden, in truth, I am uncle only in title. Your mother is not my sister, obviously. Your mother was one of my wards years ago. As she got older, she went from being a ward to a sibling of sort when she met your father and moved away. We thought it best. She does not know my true heritage or who I am. She just believes I'm a powerful being that has lived for a long time. But she does not know this. I did that to protect her, and in essence to protect you.
I understand. I do not understand how one with such a long-lasting life can retain their humanity as easily as you have. What has kept you so true to your cause and not use this power for other means?
I understand what you're coming at. The few people I have met over the years that has this type of ability generally strives for power. But I understand something. What power can be had when the collective is there?
Never a thought of joining them.
To join the collective is to lose one's mind.
I suppose you wouldn't have to let your brain be eaten by one of those brains with legs.
In all your time fighting them, have you ever discovered their goal?
So, one of the ways we decided early on to fight them was for me to not personally be involved. The secret to beating them, I knew, would be longevity. So, I have fought them vicariously through others, but not exactly head on. They do not know that I exist. And that is the only way that I have remained hidden.
So we slaughtered one of the mind flayers in a warehouse. And it seemed that he escaped through the other creatures, the rats that were crawling through there. How would we be able to defeat what seems to be a presence among all manner of creatures?
And now you understand one of the many reasons why we don't go into the city. We don't know how widespread it is. Also, there are other individuals in the city that may sense the presence of myself and Vidania, which is one of the reasons we stay outside the city.
For the lack of a better term, I'm still going to call you Uncle. I don't know what to call you now, so. Uncle, have you ever... You're a powerful being, obviously. But in all your years, have you thought about using what they use as a way of weeding them out, or
You mean those
identifying them?
brains?
No. They're all beings of... I can't think of the word. I've read it. Psionic abilities?
So some of their mental abilities have no effect on me or Vidonia. It is a gift of being part of this family of undead, living but not. There's no effect to me. One of the things we tried to find and ascertain was how to find them, how to find out, how to sense them in a way. About 20 so years ago, we actually had a breakthrough. We had heard of some individuals that could hunt and sense these beings, these aberrations is what they are. They could sense the presence of them. Well, we found one. Bodan was his name. And we recruited him into our group.
Yeah, what do you call that? What are we? Who are we?
Forever I was the last of the Oskayan Knights. I was hoping at some point we would return to being the Knights. The
Okay,
Oskayan
that's
Knights.
fine with me. You're Sky Knights. You like being a knight, Anne? I like being a knight.
Miles kind of chuckles, and Vidonia looks over and you hear her tell Miles that is a dead end. And he's like, I hear you, but there are some individuals in this world and in others that can sense out these aberrations. We met one named Bodan. He was a huntsman of sort, and he actually was able to do what we had sought for so long to do, was to sense them out. Unfortunately, he went in and was defeated and killed, and there was literally nothing left of him. He was disintegrated by whatever it is he fought. Well, I did my best. I did not want to lose this. So I attempted to bring him back. Not having anything of him, I could not resurrect his body. So I tried another avenue, one I'm not overly familiar with in the divine sense, and it seems that Bodan was reincarnated. So he is back in some way, somewhere.
He's alive somewhere.
Swear to God, if you put him into a turtle.
Sorry, say that again.
Sorry, I'm metagaming. I said, I swear to God, if you put him into a turtle.
Oh, come on. I've had my fun with turtles in the past. We can move on.
He is a ranger. He could have a favorite enemy.
Could.
So,
I don't know.
Short of finding this Bodan, do you have the ability to... Is there a way to locate a soul?
again, I am not... My strength is in the arcane and not in the divine. The issue we run into is that I've been around long enough to see entire pantheons come and go. So I have put my faith in the arcane and not in the divine. You, on the other hand, have more of a sense of that, and so did your mother. It's one of the reasons I sent you to Waterdeep. It's a realm of magic that I am not overly familiar with. A mistake that I may have made in trying to bring back poor Bodan.
Do you have any dealings with Elminster?
No.
You don't think he knows you exist?
I have worked very hard for a very long time to make sure that that does not happen. I also know that he has defeated beings like myself. I do not want to introduce that into this.
Understood.
What of the paladins that were trying to burn the manor as well? They under control of the collective, or is
that was a very
eerily
eerily similar experience that I saw when the city fell thousands of years ago. Heroes, the people that we thought we could trust, rose up and fought against us. Either they have been completely taken over by the collective, or at least deceived.
Simply fooled, of course.
Well,
Dragonborn chased us down for being necromancers, although I suppose in hindsight.
I don't know if...
She might have been right.
Exactly.
You're right.
I don't know if you agree with me, but wouldn't you think the first step would be to kind of expose them to the city of the fact that there are people masquerading as other people, at least if nothing else, but to distract from us for a moment?
Well, I want to come back to that. I'll come back to that. There are a few things in order that we must do. First, we have to decide, are we staying here? That is the first thing.
Properties?
I have caches hidden throughout. I particularly like this place.
If we need access to the Underdark, it's the easiest place to get it here.
Well, here's the thing. Over the years, we know that the collective, one of their most prevalent ways to track has been through the use of divination, through scrying magic. Now, myself and Vadonia's, we cannot be scryed upon. That doesn't mean that you and the rest cannot, and the dwarves cannot, and that this place cannot. So the first thing we're going to need, if we're going to stay here and actually make a go at this, we have to protect this place from being scryed upon. And individually as well. That is going to be order number one. Order number two is that with the loss of the manor, and I'm sure with what they are doing now, all of my funds and accounts in the name of Miles are going to be gone. So we're going to have to come back with resources. I have caches buried throughout the world, and some actually fairly close. But we are going to need resources. We're going to need coin and things of that nature. So we have to protect from scrying. We have to make this is going to be our sanctuary. We must make it secure. We will need money. We need funds.
Vimic, do you still have that necklace?
I
I don't know who had the necklace.
think Anne had it.
And do you still have the necklace?
I haven't lost anything yet. I'd pull out whatever inventory stuff that we...
Now he looks at that, he goes, yes, that is exactly what you need. Yes, that will protect you from being detected, from scrying. That is a good thing. You should wear that. Man.
Would they have frozen all of my accounts, Uncle? Would I have access for, at least for us to get us settled again?
I wouldn't think so. Wait.
I was on the wanted poster.
I don't know this. What happened? Why are you wanted?
Well, I made a mistake. I'm owning up to it. The collective knows our names.
Corden, what did you do?
I introduced myself to a man who ended up being an Illidan.
You entered... So the collective knows all of your names.
Yes, it's a shame I hadn't been warned about this previously, but apparently I had not.
And with that, everyone will need to change personas, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Martha Stewart now, forever.
I will imbue another crystal for you. You can be Martha Stewart forever. Well, for an hour every day.
So, there is still...
What exact persona do you expect me to change into? I'm a genie in your service.
You can hide easy
Change
enough,
my hair.
though. You can hide easy enough.
I suppose so.
I know Anne can easily hide herself.
I turn into Charlotte.
Right, you immediately turn personas and Miles, or Alaric now, he kind of smiles. He's very talented. The Vimic is going to be an issue. Now, does the collective know about the dwarves? Did you mention the dwarves?
No.
And with that, the dwarves get up and goes, we can create a guise up top. We can create a stable or a forge or something and make it a dwarven settlement. We can protect the entrance and make it as if... And he looks around and he goes, we'll make it a forge. The town needs a forge.
Oh, I was hoping it'd be a tavern, and we could play Tavern Simulator.
What of... We must...
We already tried that.
The Hothamores. This is their land still. They'll
The Amcathras.
say something. The Amcathras, excuse me.
If I remember correctly, and the dwarves go, yes, the Encathars owe us a favor for saving their lives when those beasts attack.
Very good.
Yes, but they don't know we're alive. We have to go up there with different personas, right?
Correct.
We pose as one of their distant relatives and, I don't know, take over the land that they wouldn't sell to you.
And with that, Thorbrick goes, I'll talk to Mr. Ancathar. I will handle that.
All right, leave the Stormpikes, I suppose.
So the dwarves, they start talking about themselves about how they're going to set up a forge up top and basically hide the entrance to this cavern. And with that, Thorbrick goes, if you would, Lord, and he looks at Vidonia. Vidonia, with your permission, we would like to begin that. We must protect the entrance itself. And Vidonia says, yes, of course, and may go. So with that, the dwarves leave.
Wait, I want to stop them before they go. And
Yes.
I'll say, Thorbrick, I might recommend also making an alternative exit here.
Alright, it's a good idea. We'll work on that as well. But first, we must secure the one we have. So the dwarves leave to create the guys, the forge above, so they have some type of hiding for the crypt, as it were. And with that, Vimic, you've been very quiet. What are your thoughts?
How does the Valanavi clan fit into everything?
Well, from my understanding, the Valanavi clan, they were an ally to the Beravans. Similar to the way the Stormpike, because the Beravan clan, they went out and they created allies. The Valanavi clan was one of them. The story that I had heard had something to do with some frost giants that had enslaved your people, and they were liberated by one of the Beravans.
Okay. So, what is this place that we are in right now? Do you recall this place?
No. This was unknown to me. This was the keep above it I was somewhat familiar with. I was young then. I was a teenager, to be honest with you. I was a very young, newly made knight whenever everything started to happen. And it was Alanis in total honesty. I believe I was her last option to take her child and to find safety for her. And I swore my own oath to her that I would give my life to protect her. And when he says that, and Vidonia looks over and goes, and you have. And you sense that, if anything, Miles or Alaric is a man of his word and has a very strong sense of duty and honor that goes back to when he first vowed to be a knight. He's still holding true to those tenets.
Nice. Good man. Miles, what do you make of the pool of water in the other room? Eerie. Makes me a little uncomfortable.
Honestly, I have not had a chance to look around yet. The first thing before...
That's true. Your head was just reattached. I should give you minutes.
Well, Vidonia and I can look around this cavern and take a look, but in the meantime, we need to find a way to protect this. And Vidonia speaks up. He goes, well, there is a way to protect. It's the same way that we protected one of our previous keeps. And with that, Miles looks over and goes, did you say there was still a way to find the Underdark? It's still open.
The Yawning Portal.
I was like, there's a giant hole in the middle of the tavern.
So, bear with me, but there is a way for us to... There is a certain creature that if you can find it or one of its kin, we can actually, and we've done this in the past, it's kind of hard and rare, but the blood of a beholder or its kin will actually...
beholder?
Or its kin. You will actually...
Beholder's son or daughter.
No, there are things that are beholders, and there are also beholderkins, like smaller versions of them. We would only need one, maybe two.
Oh, just two!
Depending on the size.
I feel kind of like the idea of getting a beer and jumping in the hole in the Yawning Portal instead, but if we need access from here, I suppose we would need these things.
If we want to stay here with the information that they have about all of you and what it is we're trying to do, thank you, Corden, then that wherever we end up going, we will have to find a way to protect wherever we are. Whether it's here or someone else, we must protect from being scryed upon.
They did know that we were looking for a map of this keep. So staying here might not be...
Well, the collective had this map,
They did.
but they didn't know what to make of it.
Or they didn't know
never
where it
came
is.
looking. Or they
Yes.
did, and they know all of this.
It's true.
I think
Maybe
they,
we
How
should
can we tell
redesign the
right now?
exterior as well.
I think they would have been here by now.
And as soon as you say that, Miles looks up and goes, "You're right. They seem to act quickly. If they knew we were here, they would probably have already been here or would have been waiting."
But they may know the outside of the place from the map. The outside has been destroyed. If we rebuild the place in the exact image that's on the map, then they might make the connection.
So in the meantime, we need to hold off on reconstruction.
The exterior as well.
We need to hold
Let's
off on
make
the
it different.
reconstruction.
Like a big water fountain out front, or I don't. Use a different style. High pointed roofs with
Art Deco. Yeah.
Art Deco simulator.
So we have to find a way to protect our home, and we'll need resources.
The beholder.
So how does a
Or two.
beholder protect
Kin.
this place?
It's their blood.
What does
Well,
the blood do?
I cannot go back to the
We found years ago that the blood, if you... It sounds grisly, but if you put it into mortar itself and on the walls, divination, scrying magic cannot penetrate it.
It's the blood of the beholderkin.
Yes.
With them knowing my name, am I believe that I should not return to the Emerald Enclave at all?
At this point, I do not believe that is very good.
I left a lot of good books back there.
I can go in for them.
Oh. Yes.
They wouldn't know Charlotte. Oh, I don't know Charlotte either, so I
Actually,
keep my mouth
We're
shut.
talking to Charlotte now.
actually,
I don't know her
might-
name's Charlotte. She hasn't introduced herself. Like
No,
Gordon
I
was so nice to do.
Just like just changed.
I might be able to accompany you using the same trick we used with Vimic here.
Absolutely. I'm happy to help.
Put you in a bag.
So how do you feel about
Gordon
us doing some reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Can study up some beholderkin and maybe where we can find them.
How long does the disguise allow you to retain it?
An hour.
How long does it take to get to the Emerald Enclave from where we are? Trevor?
Alright, so here's the thing. If you were to use it before you got to the city gates, it'd be pretty easy if you just beeline it. Or getting to the Emerald Enclave and the Yawning Portal is not too far from each other. So that is definitely a possibility. The other thing is it could be as simple as there are other Goliath around, maybe just disguising himself.
Put him in a big moo or something. Turn him into Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubt.
Just
Goliath.
shave the beard. So it sounds that
Well, Mimic, what do you think?
Let's go looking for a beholderkin.
First collecting some belongings.
Right.
Well, not only belongings, the Emerald Enclave has an extensive library that may be able to point us to something along our level to target.
You mean you don't just want to jump into the Underdark and kill a beholder?
Not particularly. I like living on this mortal plane, and I haven't quite got around to sticking my soul into something else. So, this one, I'm gonna hold up the lantern and be like, "This one looks crowded at the moment."
Listen here. By the way, why the connection with that and the phylactery? Did that need to be a thing?
Vidonio says, well, we have many phylacteries.
We have many of them.
And it was the one I had.
How many?
She kind of smiles. She's like, many. You got to think, these people have been around 5,000 years.
Yeah. I
Just
just wanna-
leaving your phylacteries around like
Buried
Johnny
around all
Appleseed.
over the place, right?
I don't know why I'm still using this voice.
I just wanted to clear something up. You talked about outliving the collective, but haven't really tried anything to stop them?
Oh, no, we have. Oh, no, we have. We just have failed at every turn.
Okay.
We've tried hunting them. We've tried uprisings. We've tried... At one point, we actually put together somewhat of an army to push them out. That failed. One of the issues that we kept
What
running
makes you
into...
think- Go on.
One of the issues we
Go
kept
on,
running
go
into,
ahead.
the larger we would grow, the more opportunity we had to have one of them infiltrate us and us not know. In fact, even now, one of you could be one of them, and we would not know.
Probably Vimic.
Devise a way. We need to devise a way to fight this. That's another thing I need to look into.
That will be the third thing on the list. Protect our home, whatever it, if it's here or elsewhere. We are going to need a lot of resources. Anything that you can find. Now, we've lost much, and after we take care of this, I can lead you to other caches that we have that may help us. But ultimately, we have to figure out the thing that has eluded us for so long is how to detect their existence.
There's gotta be a way. But just like that, is there a way to detect a changeling? Like,
if it's a magical sense, detecting magic is one thing. Detecting the presence of a being in another is something that has eluded us.
Let's ask him about the items. Or see if either he or Serdwin have any insight on the items we found.
Okay.
There's a red vial of liquid.
All right, so when you last encountered we had Corden was quick enough to loot the bodies, so we have some items that they can very quickly identify for you. The mask that you have that it kind of goes over the eyes and part of the nose. He identifies this as the Eyes of the Eagle. It is a magic item that gives advantage on perception checks and also allows you to see very minute details from very far away. You can look it up on D&D Beyond. It is an attunable item, but it's something that you wear and you have advantage on perception checks that deal with sight.
So items on percent. I'm going to put them on and go, these do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the large vial. It is a potion of supreme healing. Now, I am also going to make a new ruling that I have recently been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and there's a little rule in there that I really like that I'm going to go ahead and bring in the game right now, and I should have done it in the previous campaign. For now on, drinking a potion is a bonus action. Taking an entire action to do a potion is the rules as written, and I've decided we're going to make it a bonus action because I want you to be able to just have many potions you can just kind of chug and it not cost you your entire turn. Okay? So moving forward, using a potion, bonus action. Okay?
feeding a potion to somebody else counts as a full action, right?
I'm going to say that's a full action. But if it's just you and you're just chugging it, I'm going to say it's a bonus action. I want you to be able... One of the issues that I have in the game generally is with the action, I'm either going to attack or I'm going to try to get back a few hit points. They'll generally not get the hit points back. I want you to get these resources and use it. I believe in the last game, y'all had a dozen or so healing potions you never used because the economy was better.
It's doing damage.
I'd rather swing than not do anything. Right.
Crits,
right,
man.
right. All right.
He hits. He crits. He's on page 206.
Also, you found a pouch of coins, 140 platinum pieces. They're called sun coins in Waterdeep, but they're 140 platinum pieces, which is 1,400 gold pieces. And you found the string of beads with 5 beads on it. They are called beads of force. You can remove the bead, throw the bead, and it creates like a 10-foot radius area of effect. It does 5d4 damage if they fail a dex save of 15. Also, it creates, if they fail it, they're actually like trapped in this force prison. So look them up. So beads of force. So grenades.
They're expendable. Like they go away.
Yeah. So 5 uses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. So
unless anyone objects, I would recommend our large friend have the large potion.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
All right. So Vimic takes the potion. Who will be taking the eyes of the eagle?
They do nothing. Somebody else wear them.
I suppose I will take the eyes of the eagle.
Okay.
Increase my adept eyesight even more.
The keen dwarven eyesight. And I believe that the amulet of non-detection was going to go to Ellie. Okay. And the beads of force.
Actively.
Who has the beads of force?
Give that to Corden.
I guess that's fine.
Well, there are 5 of them. You can split them up.
We need to have a bead.
All right, well, let's do this. Everyone gets a bead. Corden gets 2. How about that?
Sure.
All right. So 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I actually don't know that.
Huh?
I'm gonna
One
roll them
bead
around
of
in my
four.
hand like David Bowie in Labyrinth.
You want these? Okay. All right. So with that, we're going to do a long rest. Everyone can rest up and decide, because we were already late in the evening, so this is a chance for everyone to rest, gather yourselves, decide what it is that everyone has as you're going to be going back into town tomorrow, and prepare spells or abilities, or if there's any other questions that we want to have before we move forward. The dwarves will be up top, working on creating their camp. And then everyone else is down below. So is there anything else we want to do tonight before we move back into tomorrow and go into Waterdeep?
I'm gonna ask, Uncle, how would you feel like getting a message to the city?
What do you mean?
Well, one of the things I've learned in my time with the Emerald Enclave is there's a particular spell we have that could be used. Perhaps to tell the city something like, the shapeshifters have taken over Waterdeep.
But who would you send it to?
Everyone. I write it in the sky.
Well,
Surrender Dorothy.
we tried something similar to this before in the Uprising. The problem we ran into is that no one believed it. And the ones that did were quickly routed by the ones that wanted to keep it a secret.
Well, it doesn't always have to be... To get what we have done, we don't need to tell the truth. We just need to tell something that's believable to everyone. So what is our goal? Do we want civil unrest right now?
Well, I'm working on something like that as well right now. That's another one of my side projects.
I'm just trying to think of what would help us in the city if we were to go in there tomorrow.
I think
Like a distraction?
being, well, I could work something. Would you like a distraction?
That would probably help. We want to, I would say, pass without trace into the city, find the knowledge that we're looking for, and if we gain the knowledge, perhaps go into the Underdark or wherever we find for these beholder kin adjacent beings.
I'll tell you what, if you will plan to enter the city early in the morning, just before daybreak, I might be able to contact someone I know that can create a distraction. I won't say an ally, but someone I know. And as soon as you say that, Vidonia looks over and goes, "You're not going to contact Baruta again. I believe we need to."
Why have I heard Baruta's name again before?
An arch-druid?
You were pushing for this. You were pushing for this before the manor fell, correct?
Say again?
Didn't Ceridwen dissuade you from contacting Baruta before the manor fell? I feel like I recognize that name.
Well, it's,
Maybe
we had another plan before everyone here came together. Before we put something else, another plan of civil unrest and try to we had a plan of doing to them what they did to us so long ago, of have the people rise up against them by removing the things that the people would need, like food.
So that was you.
Wait. Yes, I was going to ask, what's the connection with the fey creatures? That's you who's...
Well, no. It's not. It's just I made a deal with someone in the Shadowfell to create civil unrest.
What
Oh,
do
You did that by your
Wait.
and food sources with the livestock and the fish in the
Yes,
bay.
by removing the food, we could create civil unrest and maybe separate them.
The Redcaps that killed?
So, yes.
That was you.
Not technically.
But
Well, technically,
You started the ball rolling.
Do you know what the Redcaps can do?
Why did they murder that boy?
Kill.
No. See, the Redcaps, they have an ability that, like Bodan, we believe, that they can seek out the ones that are out of their sorts.
Are you saying the stable boy
Yes.
was a part of the collective?
Yes.
So the things that were killed were part of the collective.
Well, yes. That's why the killing was so sparse and random. It wasn't really random at all. They were being hunted.
How?
What proof do we have that the stable boy was part of the collective?
Unfortunately, I had to take the word of Boruta on that one. Again, it's a magic I'm not familiar with.
I've heard this name before too.
I have here on my notes Archdruid. I don't think we got.
Yeah,
two.
I would know that, right?
You did roll a nature check on this last week, and you heard the name. You heard Minsk talking about the name. So your character will recall that Minsk, Elminster, Dynahair, and the rest of them are traveling to the Shadowfell to find this Boruta.
I would relay that to Miles to say, this may get back to you.
I just want to pause that I love the struggle that Laz is having right now as this is coming together.
Listen.
He looks like he is squirming in his seat.
Well, I thought it was going to be like a hard choice. It's like, oh no, he's just evil.
We're going to create civil unrest.
Oh, yes.
Does Miles have a mask that covers his face? And it
No. Please understand. If we can find a way to create the unrest in the city, by removing the food source, we can then create the uprising that we need.
But you're willing to put lives at risk.
Only the lives, and this was the deal, of the ones that have been taken over by the collective.
But what about the ones that starve?
They will rise up, and one thing you must understand, there will never be a shortage of food in the city. People in the city can literally summon it out of thin air. By creating the...
He has a point.
Yes, he has a point.
It's not about starving, it's about creating panic.
I forgot we are in a world of magic.
I do have a serious...
There was never actually a shortage of toilet paper. You understand this, right?
Excellent. But the bread and milk is going to be a blizzard. Eat my milk toast.
What do you owe him for this deal?
Actually nothing. He was very upset with the Waterdavian Council for encroaching on the woods itself. I just simply created an opportunity for him to do it. I believe he was going to do something anyway. I was able to control it and give him focus.
Well, he's like a druid of the Shadowfell.
Correct.
These creatures attacked us
Close by the minute.
just upstairs.
Yes, but you were never in danger. It's okay.
Except for those two, things that tried to kill us out in
Kinda
the
feel bad for
stable yard.
killing
Remember whenever they came in, they did not kill the stable boy. They did not kill our stable boys here. They did not attack, and they were attacking you non-lethally.
Oh, lethally. It felt pretty lethal.
And you said something about the darklings that you fought out in the woods. Did they actually try to kill you?
Well, no.
I mean, we tried.
I'm really starting to question my choices lately.
Just lately, Gordon?
Come now, Anne, don't be mean.
Gotta tease you a little bit.
She has a bit of a sharp tongue. She's a bit of a monster.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Just fill him in on what we saw with the torch last time and tell him that, the images we saw of like the dojo type training with the half elves and things like that in here.
Would you please, could you leave the torch here with us?
Oh, I don't know. You are a lich who's been summoning Shadowfell stuff to kill
He did
things.
not summon the Shadowfell.
Vimic earned that torch fair and square. I don't remember you fighting a bird, firebird.
I'll let you watch me walk around with it. How about that?
Okay. Okay. So he asked to borrow it tonight while you're sleeping so that he can investigate the surroundings.
Yeah, and I'll tell him, who we saw. It was like the regal female warrior who was a high elf. Then the half elves training, kind of in the dojo type area, and I'll show him where we saw all this.
Okay.
Vimic gives him a tour of his own crypt.
All right. So as he looks, he tells you that was Lashana. That was Alanis' mother, who was she was the warrior who trained the knights. And he stops. He goes, "Please understand that everything that I have done has been to rout out the collective. That they have taken over this world, and they are literally feeding on the people of this world. So creating panic and strife to rout out the oppressors is fair play."
I understand.
I understand.
You please understand that we are at war, and there will be casualties. We try to limit and mitigate the damage to the general populace, which is why we have not ever attacked the general populace. That is why we have sat and waited for so long. Because we don't want to do that. What is the point of ruling if there's no one left to rule?
On the topic of accepting casualties, what makes you think that we will succeed where other groups you have put together have failed? Are we as expendable as these others?
I don't believe anyone has ever in this service has been expendable. We've learned things over the years through the sacrifices of others, but the reason that I believe now is the time is the timing. I have waited for this comet to return. I believe it is foretold that this is a window of opportunity. It was something mysterious that the wizard said to me so long ago about waiting for signs in the sky. Aseric was mad and a true villain, but he also spoke some truth, twisted, and I believe that this is the time.
Coincides with the Oathsworn showing up too.
That is also true. We've never had the Oathsworn return.
I see.
All right.
It feels that there is momentum gathering.
So beholder blood?
That is the shopping
All the
list
blood of
for
its
today.
kids.
Shopping list for tomorrow.
Yes.
Beholder blood,
Yes.
collecting information.
Correct.
And I'm missing one. And then just...
Eventually we're going to have to figure out a way to decipher the differences between them. I don't know if I trust Baruta in the whole red cap theory.
I want to investigate that, and I'll tell you where I want to go down that path.
Right. That's the plan for tomorrow.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna, for sake of brevity, we're resting. We've had lots of conversations. We're still unpacking a ton of information, and I know everyone's gonna have to digest on all of that, and it's okay. Because we've had more story tonight than we've had in 5 games previous, as far as putting it all together. But everything before this has been building up to this. Everything now makes sense. Okay. From here, we wake up the next morning. Everyone needs to have their characters ready as far as what spells you have, what you're taking. Everyone has their items. Everything is attuned to, we have items now. So who has the mask that's attuned now? Is that Lorix carrying the mask? Okay. And then the necklace attuned is for Ellie. And then the beads of force, we've kind of distributed those. And then the potion, Vimic has the potion. Correct?
Vimic has the potion, but I also still think he has the other stone with a spell that Ellie probably...
Correct, the spell stone. So that is also an attunable item as well.
Yeah.
So
I'll
you-
hand that
I'm
back to her.
attuned.
Huh? What now?
I'll hand
I'm
it back to
attuned.
you. Because you can reuse it, right?
I can use it. I can give you another disguised self to turn into Martha Stewart whenever you would like.
Okay. All right.
Startham Ewart.
Start the Muir. All right. With that, we are heading back to the city. Okay.
Warlocks don't change their spells on rest, right?
Um,
That's on level up.
You've played a few of them. All right. Back to
Yeah.
Waterdeep. All right. So early in the morning, just before daybreak, you make your pass through Undercliff, through the city. It's early in the morning. You pass the one town guard, Constable Ivan, is finishing his rounds. You kind of wait till he's out of the way because he knows some of you. As he kind of moves out of the way, you get closer to the city. Now, what does the party look like as you're getting into the city itself? I know that Anne has now turned into Catherine with the long black hair. She's in her noble clothing, or she's just changed her clothing up a little bit to look more noble. Lorix, are you in the ring?
Do they have a description of me?
They know your name and that you're a dwarf.
Okay. Oh, God. I guess I'm in the ring.
Okay. And who is carrying the ring?
But
I'll be the ring
thing
bearer.
is, I got to come up with some kind of disguise before we leave. Because if I go in I can only do the ring thing once per day.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if I go in now, I'm not going to have a way back into it later.
Okay.
Right.
Corden, I think Corden wanted to use the stone, right?
This stone.
No, I wanted you to have the stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I am Martha Stewarting it up.
Well, not yet. You don't. You only get 1 hour of that, so let's hold up on that. All right. So the party is moving on. Everyone's trying
Does
to.
anyone have like a disguise kit? Like a disguise kit
Yeah.
in their inventory? Some kind of roguelike character, perhaps?
I don't think I know one.
I don't want to name names, Ellie.
I don't think I chose a disguise kit.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'm just going in guns a-blazing.
All right, so here's the thing. Everyone can basically try to change their clothing, hair. They can do little tiny things, use different names. Everyone's going to need a different name, okay?
I'll do that.
All right, so everyone come up with different names. Serious, not like, Leroy Jenkins. All right, so everyone's going back into town.
Leroy.
I guess the only one I'm really curious about is Vimic. Because humans, dwarves, they all look... Okay, there's a million of those running around. Goliath, there's only a couple. So what's the Goliath going to do to try to disguise himself without using the stone to cast Disguise Self?
What is the plan exactly?
To
What
go
era
back
are we-
into the city, I believe there's some shopping that needs to be done.
Not so much shopping, just recover everything that I had from the Emerald Enclave. Try to find something that is beholderkin in nature and where we might find it.
Okay.
And look up a lead that I have.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
You could split up. If you're gonna end up at the Yawning Portal, Vimic could go ahead and head there now as Martha Stewart and then just hide in the back.
right.
So you
With-
could.
I'll follow along with Martha.
Okay. All right. So the Goliath and the
Martha's, like,
dwarf,
serving dwarf.
you will go to the Yawning Portal, get a booth in the back, and just kind of hide out and wait. And then Corden will go with now Catherine to the Emerald Enclave. Correct.
Charlotte. Again.
Charlotte. I'm sorry, Kat. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
There's so many personas. You could be a
Thinking
Catherine.
McCaffrey.
You could be a Catherine next. Who knows?
could
All
be a
right.
Catherine.
So Charlotte, and then so here's what we're gonna do. As you reach into the town, there is a lot of chaos at the very morning. Guards are moving about. It seems that the displacer beasts have actually been like attacking the walls of the city itself and seem to be probing the defenses of the city itself and then disappearing into the darkness. So there seems to be, as promised from Miles, a distraction for you to enter the city. Everyone's rushing into the city for cover, and they're quickly letting people in because they're more concerned about the displacer beasts that are outside than they are the coming and goings, the people at 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 in the morning. So everyone's kind of rushing in. At this point, the party splits. And the Goliath and the Dwarf will head to the Yawning Portal. And then Charlotte and Corden, you will then head to the Emerald Enclave. Now, as you get closer to the Emerald Enclave, there's a lot going on. And normally there is a guard right outside the area to get in, but right now there is not. Now, where you're going is this place called Falconmere, where the spirit of Falcon, this demigod, you hear the voice echoing. And sometimes she's there, and sometimes she's not. More often than not, she's not. So you go. The way in is open. So you're able to go in now. Corden, you are just slightly dressed differently, but you're basically, a little less disheveled as you walk in with this noble. And there's people running around. You see some animals, totally normal, but you're able to get in without a problem. So at this point, y'all are in Falconmere. What do you want to do?
I want to head towards my quarters.
Okay, so you start heading to your quarters. Now, Charlotte, you stop because this is an area you've always wanted to go in. You've always heard about it, but you have never been allowed to go in here because it's just for members of the Emerald Enclave. So it is amazing as soon as you pass through the arc of this area that you go from hearing the city streets to walking in and hearing like a bubbling glade, and there's trees, and it's like you're in this magical forest in the middle of the city. And you look, and behind you see the city. You can't really hear it though. You can't hear the bustling of the city even in the early morning. What you're hearing is, birds tweeting at the dawn of a new day, and you're looking around and you see that there's like this giant bear going down and drinking out of this brook, and you're kind of taken back because everyone else is there is this giant black bear just sitting there drinking out of the brook, and no one seems to care. Now, Corden, you realize that's one of those dirty moon druids. And a lot of times they kind of get lost in the animal side of themselves and just will stay in that form as much as they can. So as she is staring at this bear, you're like...
I'm gonna turn around and catch her eye and say, it's quite nice here, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Yes, I hate this city actually, but this place makes it bearable. No pun intended for him.
Doesn't feel like...
You actually know the moon druid. His name is Droman. You can actually... It's very strange. Even though he is a bear, you can still recognize who that is from the markings of the bear itself. You know it's Droman. And he can turn into many animals, but he's almost always a bear. That bear.
Right. I don't know if I'm trying to get his attention at this point.
No, he's very busy drinking out of the brook.
Let's move quickly. I don't know who's what here.
He's drinking water. He's focusing on the necessities.
Right.
I would probably make sure that was in my hood too.
He cares about the bare necessities of life as he's drinking water. All right. I'm a dad, so dad jokes are going to fly. It's just going to happen. And Laz is just jumping in because he knows I like it. All right. So...
To get this man a picnic basket.
All right, so this you guys pass on. You go to... there's basically like this giant like Elden like twisted tree that you go into. It's just gorgeous. As you walk in, it's like the tree is larger on the inside than it was on the outside. As you walk in, it's like
The TARDIS.
It's the TARDIS. It is the TARDIS tree. And as you walk around, you look, and there's like this spiraling staircase that goes up into these different rooms. And as you go up, you see Corden just kind of walking in like he owns the place. Because he does have a room here, and he opens up as soon as he gets to the door, these vines kind of open as the tree knows that he's here, and you see that he goes in, and you see like this little bed, and you see like this the tree itself has made shelving and things, and you see books and scrolls. It's sparse.
It's all books and scrolls.
Right. But all of the furniture here is actually the tree itself has grown the things that he needs.
How beautiful.
It's his Ewok village.
Yes.
So, Corden, what are you looking for?
I kind of hate to leave it behind, but it seems we have something else we have to do now.
Okay. So what is it you want to pick up from here?
I'm gathering anything that had any trace of me.
Okay.
is coming out of this room.
Okay, so your personal belongings, you're just like stuffing it in your pouch. Okay, now, you do have some library books here that you can just leave, but anything that was yours, your personal things, you're grabbing.
I'm also going to ask Anne to watch the door.
Okay.
And I'm
Absolutely.
going to kneel in a meditative manner.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to reach out to the spirit here. And make myself known. And attempt to... I don't believe that spirit would have anything to do with the collective, and I believe that it would be fighting against them, if at all possible. So I know that this is a place where it is at, so that's why I've returned here, to try to gain some knowledge, and to try to make an ally with a powerful demigod.
What exactly are you praying? I need the words.
What was it was Falcon?
Falcon. Falcon is her name. Falcon mirrors the place.
So I'm going to reach out to Falcon and tell her that I am one of her students and followers.
You need a Falcon miracle?
And that the city where her students learn and follow her has become beset by outsiders from the Underdark, who are aberrations, which are the enemy of nature.
Okay.
And we look for her guidance.
Perfect. I need a nature check.
Well, that's not a good one.
But you did say guidance, so you could use guidance before making the nature check.
I'm also going to shift into dragon star form.
Okay.
As I'm meditating.
Man, you're going for it. All right, so this is going to be tough. This is a good roll.
So guidance, base 10, plus whatever my other stuff is.
Right. So give me the roll.
First, you said nature?
I'm going to help you. Don't worry about the dragon form, because you're going to need better than base 10. So I don't want you to waste it. So don't worry about that.
No, but what base 10 is anything I roll is a minimum of 10. So
yeah, but I'm telling you have to roll higher than 10.
He's saying the minimum is no good.
What I'm saying is I can't... Okay, so in other words, a 10 wouldn't get it done anyway. 10 plus whatever. Well, it's going to be guidance...
This is you're asking for divine intervention. It's going to have to be one hell of a roll. I will give it to you if you roll it. Because I have played clerics in the past.
The guidance roll is a...
He's got a shot. I don't know what his plus is.
Come on, 4.
I didn't see.
And I have a plus 4 by default. So it's
Nice.
19.
DC was 20.
So,
Alright, so she doesn't appear, but you sense that you've been heard, which is important. She does not appear, but you sense her presence and that your plea has been heard.
okay, I'm good with that.
So she does not appear, she doesn't answer, but you feel her presence in the room.
Well done.
What I want is her true followers to not know that, to not think that I am an enemy, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Very well done. Very well done. And this will probably come into play later. What else would you like to do?
I want to go to the library that we have.
Okay. All right. So you leave. You're actually going to go further upstairs to the library. As you go up, you do see another druid there, and you know him. You've spent a lot of time coming in and out. His name is Shalor. He's an older elf, and he's kind of the keeper of the books and of knowledge, the librarian, if you will. And you go up and you see him, and your eyes kind of connect as soon as you kind of make the turn. Now, what do you want to do?
I want to approach him,
He goes, "Oh,
and I want to
Corden.
say, Shalor, I don't know if you've heard any things about me, but they're not true.
I don't get out much. What are you referring to?"
Someone is claiming that I've hurt someone, and I did not. I feel I am being framed by somebody, and I don't know how.
And when you say that, he laughs. He goes, "Did you drop a book on him?"
Exactly. You know I'm not the type
Oh, strange times, but it's fine. What can I do? You've got a relationship with him. You come and go a lot and read a lot of books. Not a lot of druids do that. You actually care more about writing than most. So he knows you. And he looks and goes, I'm sure it'll sort itself out. What are you looking for today?
2 things.
Yes.
One, I need to know, and this is going to sound really crazy, but just trust me. I need to know things that are related to beholders or beholder kin and where to find them.
Well, there's one very famous one in town that runs that Thieves Guild, Xanathar.
Yes.
But I wouldn't mess with
I
that.
thought he was in Skullport.
Oh, no, he's based here. No.
Oh, well, I don't think he would give me his blood, so...
No, not willingly, at least. But he does have underlings, I believe, and he kind of reaches over and goes, we don't have a lot of information, but I do believe he does have underlings under him that are beholder kin. I can get you a book, a tome on those. And he goes and he pulls out this small, it's this book, and as he pulls it out, it's almost like the book like cuts in half, and he goes, this is the part of it that you need. And he hands you, it's really strange, like you saw a full book, and he like basically slid a chapter out of the book, and it becomes another book, and he hands you this, smaller, like it's the abridged version about Boulderkin, and he hands it to you. I believe this will help you. Now, I do know that I've heard that this Xanathar character, like I said, has other underlings. Maybe you could try to get one of them.
True. I also want to tell you, I have no idea when I will be back here, so it may take me a little while to return these.
You're good for it, I know, and we'll see each other again soon, I trust. Let me know what I can do to help.
Does this same book also refer to anything of the illithid? And I'm going to kind of look around as I say that.
Illithid.
Mind flayers.
I'm not afraid I have anything on that. Would you find odd that there's nothing in this library about illithid?
When he says that, can I roll a
Insight? You absolutely may.
insight?
I'm 100% watching all of this.
Right.
Why did it roll? I don't understand what's going on here.
Who's this girl?
Stealthily
No girls in the library.
Even though I did not detect anything there, I do find that extremely odd.
Yeah. You trust what he's saying. It was an insight. You trust that he doesn't know anything about it. But yeah, in this massive library that seems to have a little bit of information about something, there's nothing here about illithids.
Because illithids are more common than beholders.
It's about the same.
Very well. What of the magic of psionics?
That's not something we study here.
I know we don't study it, but any information on... Are there any in Waterdeep who do?
Yeah, the Mages Guild. That would be where you'd want to go. There's several around town. One by the docks, one up north. But that's not my expertise, sorry.
Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to take a stab at something here. If you need anything, I want you to know how to reach me. And I'm going to look at Anne and give her a knowing look like, I know what I'm doing, go with me here. And say, the name I'll be going by is Everett Morningtide.
Everett? Sure.
Everett Morningtide.
Everett Morningtide. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And anything else from Charlotte before we leave?
Oh no, I'd be staying as quiet as a mouse.
Okay,
Like
all right.
just
So the two of you are able to leave the Emerald Enclave and then I guess begin to head to the Yawning Portal. With that, we'll go to the other split of the party.
As we're walking out, I want to tell her, I said, anybody that I think I can trust, I'm going to give her a different name, and we'll see if any of those show up on wanted posters.
So smart.
Okay. All right.
Good thinking.
So I will have to keep track of who knows what name.
I'm writing them down here.
Okay. All right. That will be...
His name was Shaloon?
Shalar. SHA''LOR. If you don't mind, help me out in Discord under your channel and put which name is next to each person. If this is... It's a great ploy, but as a DM, it will be nearly impossible for me to remember
I'm keeping up with it.
every name and every NPC. Right. Okay. All right. So with that... We're going to go to the other group. All right, so while they were doing that, Vimic and Lorix made their way to the Yawning Portal. Now, the Yawning Portal never closes, but this early in the morning, it's pretty sparse, which is perfect for what you're trying to do. So you guys enter. You see a couple of people moving about. You do see, but the barmaid that you see, and even the barkeep. It's not Dernan. You don't see Bonnie. This is the early morning cleanup crew that you see. But you see a gnome behind the counter, kind of cleaning up the counter. So he's actually standing up on the bar and kind of scrubbing the bar down. And you see another younger female human that is also helping mop the floors and things. You do see a couple people still like laid out on the floor from a night of drinking, but it's pretty early in the morning, and you can already smell the kitchen is come alive. You hear voices raised in the back as they're beginning to get breakfast going. You would normally at this point you would smell eggs and you would smell bacon and you would smell all these wonderful breakfasts. What you smell is like roasted vegetables. And it is a somewhat pleasant smell, but it's not the smell that you would normally think to experience as you walk into the tavern, like they've gone vegan. And it's only because you know that vegetables are what's available right now and not meat. So they're having to come up with some different things. So you smell the spices of the vegetables that are being roasted this morning for breakfast.
Lawrence is absolutely going to complain about this. Why isn't there more meat? Like, what's up? What happened to breakfast? What happened to breakfast is his big kind of slogan this morning.
Right.
He's seeing if anybody else kind of feels the same way.
I'm gonna kind of pat him. I'm gonna pat him and be like, low profile. Low profile, dearie.
Civil unrest.
Okay. You look over. You do see a half orc and a dwarf. That are kind of preparing. They're basically going through and getting gear together as if they're planning an expedition into the Yawning Portal. Other than that, it's the only group you see stirred, other than a couple other people's passed out. As you see this one other group off to the side, and again, the second and third floor they've already shut down for cleaning. It's just the bottom floor at this point.
I'm definitely approaching this pair, so long as Vimic doesn't stop me.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask them if they are as upset as I am about the missing breakfast foods.
And the half-orc looks over and goes, well, there is meat around if you know where to find it.
Really? Well,
yes.
The kind of meat I want to eat?
Oh, it's quite delicious. And he looks over and goes,
very close to that.
I trust you to keep quiet. And he opens his pouch and he pulls out some jerky and he hands it to you. He goes, horse meat.
The meat. I tell you what, I'm going to save it for later. Okay.
It's good.
You're a good orc. You're a good orc.
What are you doing here so early?
Away from these two.
He enters about. My name is Orsic, by the way, and what is yours?
I'm Torval.
Torval, nice to meet you.
Torval, yeah. I thought there'd be more of a crowd this morning.
Oh, it's early. They had a late night. Big groups went down last night. Haven't returned yet.
Is anyone going down this morning?
One moment. I'm amazed I haven't coughed yet.
You seem to have a bad cough, sir.
It's the horse meat. It's the horse meat.
Give you a nasty cough.
Yes, yes. With that, he goes, well, we're planning our expedition this morning as well. We've got a lead. We want to go investigate.
Oh, really? What kind of lead is this?
Well, there's two. And he looks around and he goes, and he looks and the dwarf goes, he kind of slaps and he goes, well, and Orsic goes, well, maybe they want to go with us. You look like you could handle yourself.
It's an adventure, aren't we?
Well, I'll tell you what I know. And if you'd like to come, we'd give you fair share, and your big friend as well. He's looking over at the Goliath, who's too large and then too small.
Does he look like Simic, or does he look like Bertha?
He's just a Goliath right now. You haven't had a reason to go.
Yet.
And he looks over at the dwarf, and the dwarf looks up and he picks up his stein and goes, my name's Delg.
Delg. Pleasure to meet you.
Delg.
So Orsic and
Sorry for my
Delg.
quiet friend.
Right. He goes, well,
Okay.
there's two factions on the first level as you go down, and they're at war with each other. And what we have heard is that one of those factions is collecting a toll from people that want to go down, which means they have a lot of coin. We believe if we go in early in the morning like this, we can catch them while they're sleeping and take their goods from them.
That sounds like a brilliant idea.
And Del goes, well, yes, but he hasn't told you which factions these are.
Well, go on.
And Orsic's like,
Keep me in.
Orsic's like, dumb dwarf. Anyway, no offense to you. Well, there's two factions. There's two factions. There's two gangs. One of which is the Undertakers. They fancy themselves vampires or something, but they are not. We don't do it. And then Del goes, not that we're dealing with them. They're not the ones, but it's the other gang. Yes, yes. There's another gang there from works with that Xanathar crowd, and they have set up the toll, and these two factions have been fighting, which means there's a distraction. We could go in and take their coin. There's two.
Xanathar, isn't that older?
Yes, but he wouldn't be down here. He keeps up in the sewers and all that, whatever. But these are just some of his men.
Down there, then? Like some type of like, would he have them? Some sort of beholder?
No, rabble. No, rabble. We're not going to deal with that. We're talking about goblins and things of the nature.
Oh, that's less exciting, isn't it? Rather fight some type of beholderkin.
No, you don't want to do that. We're looking for easy coin. You're mad.
Oh, what's wrong with a little adventure along with my easy coin?
Well, that's your
You're
choice.
right. I don't mean to.
We're not signing up for that.
I apologize. I just come in here and I complain about your breakfast and I complain about your adventure. I'm a simple dwarf.
Yes, you are. And with that, he goes, what's with the tall chap? And the little dwarf looks up at the Goliath and says, how do we know we can trust him? He's one of those giant kin.
That's a good question. How can we trust you?
Look, we'll go with you on this thing, maybe. We gotta wait for our friends to come.
Whoa, friends. We don't want to cut up the bounty anymore. 4 is plenty. How many more friends do you have?
I tell you what, how about this? We go half and half. Between the two of you, you get half. And between the however many of us there are, we get the other half.
Give me a persuasion check.
I will roll a persuasion.
It's a good argument.
Did I close roll 20?
You did. You are out of roll 20. You fail at Dungeons and Dragons, my friend.
No, I failed.
You were so riveted in the game, you just closed it. There we go. Here we go. What's the roll?
It was. It was just like
13 plus?
My persuasion is a +2.
15, perfect.
Fitting.
He looks and goes, and you see the orc trying to count, like, 2, 4, half. I'm not sure I follow. So you're saying if there's 5 of you and 2 of us, that we get... And there's a moment where he loses the math.
Well, let's do it simply. Let's say we go down and we get 2 sun coins. Sun coins?
Yeah, it's platinum pieces. Okay, 2 coins.
We get two coins.
So you get 5 of
Between
them?
the 2 of you, you get 1 of them. And if there's 100 of us, we still share the 1 sun coin.
So we get... But then you get 5 and we only get the 1. And then the dwarf slaps him and he goes, "No, you fool, he said 100. He's going to get 100 and then we get 1.
No. Just good luck, fellas. We're going to go have a drink. Good luck. You're right. He's trying to take you for a ride. We're going to go sit down. I'll teach him some manners. Go.
Probably best. We'll get it on.
I let myself be shuffled away by the Goliath.
Oh, math. All right. So you two go and have a hearty... Is there anything else that you want to do at the Yawning Portal before you rally with your friends?
I just kind of want to look at the board and see what the setup is for going down into this thing in case we need to go down.
So there's right. So you're looking at the board. There are different bounties. One of the big bounties right now is there's been tale that there are manticores on the first level, and there's a bounty for manticores.
How much is that bounty?
It's broken down into pieces. Basically, you're looking at around 100 gold per.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, this will be one way we can perhaps coin. Have to be sneaky about it when we do it in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna wait because I thought, I think this is probably our best lead at this point. So we definitely need to tell. And Corden.
There's also a bounty.
What's the name of this?
Ooh.
Say again?
What's the name of this guy that Miles has been dealing with again? Baruta?
Yes, Baruta.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's also a 500 gold piece bounty on a particularly nasty troll. And there's also...
So that's how it works. Like,
correct.
Bounties, and that like people take and go down there and see if they're like the first to get to it.
Right.
That's awesome.
There's also it's a 5 gold per head of poisonous snakes, 10 gold if alive.
Oh, gotcha. Some sort of alchemy or something.
Correct. The same bounty goes for giant spiders.
Ugh.
It's pronounced Spooter.
Ever 10.
And there's also a weekly special that you have to actually speak to the barkeep about. It says inquire for details.
I'll go to the barkeeper and ask him what the kill du jour is.
Well,
The kill of the day.
well,
Oh, the kill du week.
that's are you planning on going down? And you're talking to this little gnome at this point. So he's standing up, and he sits up, and he's got bare feet as he's just kind of like scrubbing on the floor, which is normally like a halfling thing, but he's barefoot. He looks up, he looks up, and he kind of like fixes his glasses. He goes, "You planning on going down there?"
I was thinking about it. Why don't you give me your finest cup of beet juice and fill me in on this?
Beet juice.
I don't know what y'all have back there. It smells like vegetables.
Oh no, that's breakfast. We have ale, we have mead, You want a drink or you want breakfast?
Yeah.
One of each.
Oh, just the drink, please. Breakfast smells ghastly.
Oh.
Yes.
Mead then. Mead here. All right. So he pours you some of this honey mead and he hands it to you. And he goes, well, that's surprising. The ladies like that drink, but it's all you. So you get your and you're gonna get girl drink drunk from the honey mead. I'm sorry. I love honey mead actually. All right. So you start drinking your mead. And as you drink your mead, he goes, so you're inquiring about the kill of the week.
Yes, it's piqued my curiosity.
Yes, it's 1,000 gold pieces. It's this thing that's down there that we've only heard tale of. We heard some of the elves talking about it, and we would like to know if it's true. But 1,000 gold pieces, it's this half man, half spider. They called it a drider.
Ellie, that's what you get for writing it down before hearing what it was.
Very inventive naming process.
Down.
So,
Well,
you've got leads on some things that you can run into. You got the troll, the manticores, there's spiders, snakes, and some drider business.
Oh my.
Oh my.
okay. Thank you, friend. I'll run this across my friends, and we'll see about tackling some of these.
Well, just let me know. And how many of you will be going?
We haven't quite decided if we're going yet.
Well, just remember, it's
we're
5
leaning
gold.
into
It's 5 gold per entry fee.
that. And what if this toll, when we get down there, is that
What
part
total?
of the
No,
rules, or is it kind
that's-
of a free for all down there?
Well, there are no laws or rules in the Underdark.
No rules.
See,
No, there's no rules. So, as far as us, it's a fee we charge for using our crane.
sure. Thank you, friend.
Sure. I'll
I will require some chocolate and a bubble bath to go with my mead, I suppose. It's just a joke. All right, let's go. All right.
Oh, we'll tell that story off air. All right. So you take your mead. You return. At this point, Charlotte and Corden have returned, or Everett Morningtide, as it would be today. As you two come in. So now the four of you are you return to the scene of the crime in the same exact booth you were at before, just yesterday. It's just your booth at this point. So you get back to your booth to kind of share information. So what type of conversation would you like to have? It's still early in the morning and there's not a lot of people here. So what would y'all like to discuss?
I really don't like this place.
Yeah. Tell them about all the
Good
bounties
information.
and whatnot, and it might be a good money-making thing in the future. What did you guys figure out?
I just
Well,
had-
go ahead, man.
oh, I was just gonna ask, are our faces still on the board?
Yes.
Ooh. That's not kosher.
Well, it's just the one face, right?
It's just her face. It's just Anne's face.
And our
Descriptions of all of us.
Yes, just descriptions and names, but who reads? Those are words. Pictures speak 1,000 words, but words, they're like half words.
Words
right?
speak no words.
Words don't speak words at all. Right.
Sorry. Good.
Bob Carter is watching the game. Hi, Bob! He just posted the Yawning Portal! Hey, Bob. That's awesome. All right. So, is there anything y'all want to discuss, or do we just want to dive right in?
I would want to recap them on what we found.
Okay.
I would also want to say that there was a recommendation that there is a Thieves Guild in the city, and the Thieves Guild is kind of the most famous secret that everybody knows, but nobody knows, is that it's run by a beholder, of course. So surely there's some kind of beholder kin that would be in the city, or we could take our chances in the Underdark. Strangely enough, though, and I want to point this out to you all so that you know, and Anne and I discussed this and found it extremely odd. Is the librarian, who I have known ever since I've attended the Emerald Enclave, didn't know anything of mind flayers.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
He knew of beholders, but not mind flayers, who are from the Underdark.
That's odd.
So I gave him a name to find me by, that if that name gets used, then we know that he is a mind flayer or something.
Good thinking.
Speaking of the Beholder, apparently there's some strife on the first floor where his men are extracting tolls from those who go down. Perhaps that could play into our advantage somehow.
Xanathar is.
Yes.
So they're
And
down
some of
here?
his lackeys.
Some of his men are. Not the Beholder kin, as Lorix quite made clear. There are no Beholder kin down there.
So I'm going to look through the book and see if I can figure out any kind of beholder kin, like what to look for.
Okay, so you
basically-
quickly look through. There are many types of beholders and beholderkins. Some beholderkins even have legs and arms, and just like giant balls of eyes. And there's different sizes, different colors, and they range greatly. But one word that you see as you're looking over there that makes you stop is that they're classified, and this entry is written in by someone named Volo, that they're known as aberrations.
Which I know an aberration is
The same as a
Something that
mind
is-
flayer.
the same as a mind flayer.
The
but
same
it's also-
classification.
Oh, yes. So could we just go back to the town and collect blood from the killed things? Wait. Do you think anyone has cleaned up the shack?
I mean, the manor?
All
No, the shack.
all those rats scurried off fairly quickly.
I mean, it might be worth checking.
But
town.
Miles said beholderkin blood. Is it different in some way?
Oh, okay, yes. Aberration, same, like, species, but it's different. Yeah.
Penis.
I don't know.
Classification. Something.
We've returned to the
remember
scene of
Miles.
this crime. Why not return to the scene of the other crime?
But aberrations are against nature. They're
Correct.
basically the enemy of the Emerald Enclave.
Which is also interesting that something that is a natural enemy the Enclave has no information on, a subset of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could make a deal with Xanathar to let us, rather than going in guns blazing against the Beholder and his people,
I don't know.
we could help him somehow in return. I don't know anything about this thing.
Would
so.
I know anything about Xanathar?
Give me a knowledge history check. Okay, so you know that, what exactly are you wanting to know? You know a good bit about Xanathar. Because of where your school was located, it was kind of the edge of that territory. You know that they were very active there. You also know that they employ all types. Like, it's a gang, so it's not like you're just going to find certain types. You're going to find humans, dwarves, goblinoids, everything you can imagine, because anyone who's seeking to be in part of a gang or so, they take from all walks. The other thing that you do know is that you know they deal a lot in the sewers. They own the sewers of Waterdeep particularly, and so a lot of people won't go down there. And one thing you do know is that a lot of their territory is marked by the eyes. It's like a painting or graffiti of the eyes, and even some of their followers or their men or muscle will actually have it tattooed on them as well. The eyes of the Beholder itself. You also know that it's generally known that Xanathar himself thinks differently than others, and making deals with him generally works out always in his favor, but to the detriment of those around him. So making a deal with him could be treacherous.
Okay.
Not to say that it can't be done. It's just you're not going to be dealing with a regular crime lord. You're talking to someone that is alien-minded in sense.
I would explain
Right.
that and be like, I personally don't think that's a good idea, and my gut says that is not a...
In fact, even the notion of it kind of makes your skin crawl.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm only into deals that are somewhat fair. That's
We can go
great.
rough up his men.
That's
Well,
only
rough
going to
up
cause
will-
us more trouble.
Hey, Danny, what kind of reception does that dog get with that that satellite dish?
I just adopted this dog 5 days ago, so he got neutered and he has the cone of shame.
The cone of shame. Aww.
Upper the cone.
Okay, so here's the question: do you want to continue in the and going into the Underdark to find one of these Beholderkin? They are rumored to be down there, and there are followers of Xanathar down there. Or you could go to the sewers and try to find other followers of Xanathar, or you could go in a different way. This is the point. The party needs to decide what is it that you're wanting to do, because the number one thing you've got to do is you've got to find this Beholderkin blood to make wherever your sanctuary is going to be. It's going to have to be safe.
I think our best bet is down below. I would prefer not to do anything next to Xanathar. I'd rather go down there.
I think it's interesting that with her insight is that she'd rather brave the Underdark than deal with Xanathar head on. I think that is great.
I would rather deal with whatever doesn't make our DM go like this. But yeah, I'm totally down for the Underdark.
If anyone doesn't agree
Or
with me,
Danny.
Oh, I don't know much about the city or anything, so I'm gonna definitely trust you guys.
Well, the other thing, Femic, remember,
Y'all say
is that you're looking for a challenge. Is there anything greater than the Underdark?
I don't like unfair type stuff either. I like a deal that's very lopsided. I would be very against.
Okay.
And against people taking a toll when that's against the rules? How do you feel about that?
As y'all have had this conversation, y'all were so in sync with the conversation. You look over and you see that the gnome is over there, and he's pulling the crane back up. That your two friends, Orsic and Delk, have already entered into the Underdark just a few moments ago while you were talking. So they're already ahead of you. It could be a distraction, or you could catch up with them and join their merry party as they have a amazing plan to rob Xanathar.
Wait and see how that pans out for him.
So do you want to wait, or do you want to try to follow him down? I mean,
I say we go. I mean, the longer we wait here, the more likely we are.
the sun is coming up, and there are more people coming into the tavern.
We can follow them at a safe distance.
Correct.
can I walk up to the bulletin board and rip Anne's face off?
You absolutely can. Yeah, just in case you run into her and you want to collect the bounty.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you look at it and you're like, they just can't get that nose right. Sorry, I love Tangled. I watch it a lot with my daughter. So, all right. With that, you will then go. You talk to our gnome friend. His name is Mavis, and Mavis he says, "Oh, 4 of you will be 20 gold pieces." So, who has 20 gold pieces?
Pay the good man, Lords.
I'm not.
I would hand.
I fish out 20 gold coins.
Okay, so you give them. So keep up with the money because the money's going to matter. So 20 gold pieces you hand to Mavis. You all get on this basically this uneasy like plank as he starts lowering you down into the Underdark.
Well, this seems out of character for me, but
We're trying new things.
So with this, you go down the long shaft of the Yawning Portal as you head down into the darkness. Now, as you get down, it is completely dark. Who can actually see in the dark, or are we brandishing torches? The dwarf can see in the dark just fine. And everyone else, it's black. And as soon as you go into the abyss, like you see like the little light flicker of the Yawning Portal above, but you're going deep underground for a good while. So, are torches out at this point?
I can cast light.
Perfect. So what are you going to cast light on?
Does anybody have a sword or anything like that?
I have a scimitar that
I can cast it on that.
Or you can put it on the wall.
You can put it on the shield.
Put it on the shield.
Okay. So you cast light on Cordon's shield. So he'll be the beacon of attention.
Pretty much.
All right. So with that, the cavern just lights up as you disappear into the Underdark, which I think is a great place to pick up next week as you enter into the Underdark in search of Beholderkin blood. I'm sure that'll be easy to find. It's just laying.
It'll be exactly
super easy to find. So we'll
It's
pick up.
only pitch black, labyrinth. That's okay.
So this week was very heavy on story and roleplay. As we get into the Underdark, get your weapons ready because next week will be, I'm sure, filled with action.
Scrap coming.
There's a lot of scraps coming. So we'll definitely prepare for next week. Okay, with that, we'll catch up next week. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Follow Ellie on Twitch at Elbell. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.